Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Connecticut at your service. I know what folks are going to say, Carmen, it's been a while. I've been wheeling, dealing, and making a difference in the community. I want to thank the team that was covering for me, that was hosting for me, and all of that. But we come to you live each Tuesday when we can to make sure that we talk about individuals who are making a difference in the community by what they do, who they are. Our goal is always to educate, empower, and engage. And today we have our guest, Dr. Elba Crespo. I can't tell you, this is such a treat for me to have her here. She was born in Puerto Rico, and she has a bachelor's. She's going to tell you her whole story, but she's got a bachelor's degree in psychology from Yale. She continued her studies with Adelphi University and received her master's degree. In all of her clinical work, she creates opportunities to expand training by addressing socioeconomic and cultural issues affecting our communities. She's been with women health group units. She is associated with preventative care. And one of the things that I'm most celebrating about her today is her Elba's Angels of Comfort. So let's get right into it. Elba, how are you? Thank you so much for being here.
I'm doing really well today. Thank you for having me.
I'm so excited. So I definitely, the whole goal of what we're talking about today is talking about your Angels of Comfort. But before we get there, we got to talk a little bit about you. And we've got to send some special love to Heriberto Crespo, that has been helping me out, that is just kind of one of your BFFs, and just all the things. So let's get into your family. So I know you're sprinkled here and there in Bridgeport. Tell me a little bit about your family, because others are involved in medical care.
Well, right. We came to Bridgeport when I was very young, and because my parents were seeking economic opportunities back in the 50s. So we all grew up here. I have a sister who was a nurse. She's not working right now. I have an older sister who's not here anymore. And then I have my brother, who you know very well.
Yes.
Heriberto. And so we've all been around doing a lot of community work. I'm sure you know that my father was very active in politics dating back to the 60s, and so everybody knew him. And so we've just been very active in the community since the 60s.
You've been practicing for over 42 years, and a little birdie told me you're retired?
Yes.
Okay. So tell me a little bit about how did you get into this work, and kind of what kept you in it, because anything clinical, I will tell you, it's draining on the person, it's draining on the helper too. So being in that for over 40 years says a lot about you.
It was a long time, yes.
Yeah.
Well, I went to Yale and I studied psychology, and then after that I decided to continue. I actually went all the way through. I got my master's immediately, and then I went to get my PhD. So that was a long haul. And then I continued to do my clinical work immediately. And then at one point I took a break from the clinical work, and I went to work with the Massachusetts Department of Public Health, at which point then I did a lot of work in domestic violence, setting a lot of statewide goals. Got into a lot of trouble with the Massachusetts mayor because I was creating a lot of conflicts. Because I was speaking up. I'm somebody who speaks up. I wasn't letting things go by. But I did a lot of work in the area of domestic violence when I was in Massachusetts.
And helping women.
And helping women, absolutely. And that's something that I've continued all the way through. I stayed in Massachusetts for a very long time. I came back home, goodness gracious, 20 years ago. Because of family, and so I decided to stay here. And then while I was here, I've done a lot of community work, worked in a lot of community agencies, and then for a little while there, actually started to do some private clinical work, but I've always worked with community folks. That's always been my goal. My goal has always been to give back what the community gave me. you know. So it's always been my goal to basically give people what I got from the community. So it's really been very important to me to share with people and to help people grow.
In different ways, and kind of to help meet people where they are. I remember your family doing a project together. It was called the Giving Bags, something like that. Leticia, I remember
Blessing bags. We did
blessing bags.
We did blessing. Right. We put together blessing bags. We put together bags where we put in some food, some socks, some other things that we thought, gloves and stuff.
Words, toothpaste.
Exactly, things that we thought people who were living on the streets could benefit from. And so we put those blessing bags together, and then we each had a whole bunch. And wherever we were driving and we saw somebody who we thought would need it, we would stop the car, we would get out, and we would give it to them. And they were so grateful.
I always remembered that, you know what I mean? And your family is actually really very close. We were having I was telling you in the car, that we were having like an event, and like the whole family came out. And then when you guys all left, like half the room left.
And half the room left, exactly.
I just think your family's just amazing, all the way up, the whole family. Even your nephews, your children, they just get your son getting involved in things like that. So I know that I want to get in, because this is really kind of where your heart and kind of like where your journey is leading you now. But let's talk a little bit about about grief, loss, comfort, finding serenity, finding all that kind of stuff before we get to the doll. So tell me about that.
Well, can I talk about the angels? Because that's how the angels started. My angels started 26 years ago. My father was diagnosed with a brain tumor, and so he was on his way out. And so, as I always tell people, at 3 o'clock in the morning, there isn't a whole lot that you can do. And I had gotten a Christmas ornament from my brother.
See, he's always
around. And so, and it was an African doll. And I looked at it, and I was looking at it, and looking at it, and I was saying, I think I could make something like this. And that's where I started making my angels. They don't look, that ornament doesn't look anything like the ones that I made. And so I started making them. And I found that it was very healing and really provided me with a lot of comfort. Because in some ways it distracted me a little bit from my grief, but also because they ended up being very beautiful. And with that,
they are very beautiful.
They felt, it was a very healing process. And then as I continued to do it, I started making more and more of them, and people really liked them. And so that's how the title, Angels of Comfort, came to be, because I really feel like my goal is for people to feel comfort when they receive the angels. And we'll talk some more later about what the angels represent.
Absolutely. So since you started talking about Elba's Angels of Comfort, we do have like a little slide that we put together that talks about, so I mean, you're Dr. To me, you're Dr. Elba Crespo, right? But you're like a doll maker, a designer, and really because each one is handmade and represents serenity, renewal, hope, and then we have a little bit of your story that you were talking about on there. And I don't think neither of these are here, but if you wanted to just reflect on some of that we have on there, would be really great. And when you look, because one of the sentences on there says, when you look at the overall picture, no one is perfect. So
right, because
doll is different.
Exactly, because like I said, it started from grief and a feeling of loss, and it turned into a process of healing for me. And each one is handmade, and so none of them look the same. And you know, oh, sorry. I'm sorry.
We're getting so comfortable, you know what I mean?
Right. And because they're handmade, no two are alike, you know, and I always think that, you know, just like the rest of us, none of us are alike. you know. And so because they're handmade, you know, there might be some imperfections. And like all of us, we have imperfections, you know, but just because we have imperfections doesn't mean that there's something wrong with us, you know. And I think the imperfections make us unique. And because we're unique, it still we're beautiful reflections of our communities.
Absolutely.
You know, and so that's, you know, part of how I look at the angels is, you know, and then.
Tell me about your first one. So did you make the very first one you made, was that like for your dad? Did it represent like you and your siblings, or just?
I didn't really make it for him. However, when he passed, I put one in his coffin to go with him, you know.
That you had handmade.
That I had handmade.
So when so it could be anything, right? So if someone, I saw that you have one on the table that's specific to breast cancer.
Correct.
Right, so you make them by theme, like somebody could request a theme. I will tell you that when I first met you, I fell in love with your dolls. Absolutely, because of the way you were talking about in the heart. And I said, déjala tú aquí. And you said, I'm not leaving all my babies here.
No, I didn't leave you. I only left you 6.
And we have where we can make them available at our store, which is at 576 John Street in Bridgeport. So tell me about because when we were talking before, you said, because I wanted some made that represented my girls.
Right.
So you're like, well, you gotta tell me. So tell me your process of how you determine, because hats are different, everything's different.
Everything's different. Well, let me just say, these are the first ones, because this kind of reflected the one that I got as a Christmas ornament. And as you can see, this is more the Kenta cloth one, and the first one that I got was a more African one. So this is how I started. And then, anyway, this is how I started. And one other thing, that no two are alike, and let me show you the other one. This one is another one. And again, they are, oh, sorry.
You're covering your face. We want to see you and the dolls.
But I can't tell.
You're doing the opposite, so go that way.
That way. Okay, there you go. I got it.
She's doing her own thing.
I'm doing my own thing. I'm just
we
sorry.
love you, Elba.
I'm sorry. I don't know. I don't do well.
That works too. That works too.
Okay.
Okay, so tell us. So no two are alike.
They're no two are alike, and if you could see these, I can't figure out how to turn them. It's the same material, but it depends on how you cut the cloth. So they are matching sets, but they're not duplicates of one another.
They resemble each other, so they can be
resemble.
siblings.
They can be siblings, but they're not identical. You know, and like I said, like us, no two people are alike.
Yeah. So tell me about your process. So someone wants to order a doll or meet with you or just talk to you or whatever.
The first thing I do is I ask you, what's your favorite color? Because I have a whole lot of different material with all kinds of patterns and all kinds of colors. And so the first thing I will ask you is, what's your favorite color? You know, and then also, what kind of style do you like? Because like I said, I have these that are more the African Kenta cloth ones. So do you want more of those? I have other ones that, you said the breast cancer ones are the ones, how do I do this?
Nope, you're perfect. Yeah,
oh, that's this way, okay.
Yeah, that's fine.
Because it's a theme, you know, and I've done these when there's a campaign.
Could it be any kind of campaign? Like, you know, like grief and loss might be like, so my niece died of a domestic violence incident.
Then I would,
and her ribbon was purple.
I would
so
say,
if they wanted to do something purple, for example, then you would
I would do something purple, and then the wings would have probably the purple ribbons. Right, I would do that, you know. There's different kinds of cancers, and they have different campaigns. So right, I would tailor it to that, you know. There are other ones that are different kinds of.
Some have little stones.
Some have little
Some
stones.
have like just the material.
Some have little lace because they're more fun, you know.
And you do 2 sizes, right?
And I actually do 2 sizes, correct. So
Okay.
if you look at these are more tabletop, you know, and this one is more kind of what I call the Puerto Rican bomba one. And this one is more the African one, the more kente cloth one, you know, and this one is more with the wings, this is more of an angel, and this is much more of a doll.
Like a dancer.
A dancer doll. You know,
That
and
is
again, I
amazing.
will ask people, do you want an angel, do you want a doll? And it really depends on what the person wants. And also, how many do you want? You know, I've had people ask me for 2. I've had people ask me for 10. I had somebody once ask me for 20.
Wow.
You know.
And it could be for like an event or something. And I had asked you, I said, I love this. Could we do like a workshop where people make their own? And you said it's very personal because you feel the person, the energy in the person, and it's very personal.
It is very personal, and if I know, especially if I know the person, I feel like they come out much better because I'm making it for you. So if the ones I'm going to make for you are going to be very personal. And so when I pick the materials and that kind of stuff.
Means a little bit more too. I wanted to focus on like the backs because you have all different like hat styles. I just love that. You want to turn that one around too? They're all very different. They're all, and you told me it's like, I don't know how the hat is going to end up. Like, I'll start twisting it, right? What was your process about how to get the hat?
That's one of the things that I was telling you, that if we're going to do a workshop, I can't teach people how to do the hats because it just comes together, you know. That's kind of what makes them unique, and that's what makes them different. And I don't really have a procedure for how I make the hats. They just kind of come together, and that's the healing part for me because that's the creative part for me. You know?
I mean, as you know, I had started my company because of personal grief and loss.
Right.
So things where people are just trying to make themselves, I don't want to say heal because I don't think you ever heal. Because sometimes you'll have good days, you'll have bad days, but whatever that is, it's still kind of lingering, and sometimes it hits you, and you know, all that kind of stuff. So things like this feel very much like something we want to bring. And it could be brought to an individual. I mean, your dolls are at the store, so it's not like I can't find you. You're connected with Heriberto. Like, I know how to do that. So how do people reach you if they wanted to potentially, you know, have you make one? How do they reach you?
Well, I think you put my phone number up there, so what people can do is call that number and tell me what they're looking for, how many are they looking for, like I said, what's their favorite color, what style do they want? Do they want more of the African ones? Do they want more of the Puerto Rican type ones? Do they want a theme one? Do they want a tabletop one? Do they want a smaller one? And then once I know that, then I can make them. And then what I'll do is I can either make an arrangement with them to figure out where to find them, or I can take them to Vimaro.
How long does it take you to make one? A small one and a big one?
It depends on the day. What takes me the longest, to be honest, is the hats.
You told me that.
Right, because that's when I'm twisting and turning, and a lot of times
Having them fall just right?
having them fall right, it's just right. And then I can't tell you how many times I've made it and then I don't like it and I take it off. And it has a lot to do with my own creativity and how I like it.
Tell me one of your most favorite or most memorable that you made.
It's hard to say.
You know what?
I think I recently made one for the girlfriend of my nephew, whose grandmother had just died.
Oh, God.
And she liked the color purple. And so I found this material that was a lot of purple flowers. And so I found the right mixture of the purple flowers and the purple, because then I also have to match, I have to match the dress to the ribbon, to the hat, and to the wings. And so I found the right combination of the flowers and the ribbon, and I found the right kind of how to put the wings together and how to put the hat together. And my sister had asked me for them because she's the one who knew how to reach her, and so I sent it to my sister, and she gave it to her, and she told me she just loved it and started to cry when she got it, you know, because it was for her grandmother who had passed. Her color,
liking,
exactly,
stuff like that.
And when I did the pop-up at your place, one of the women came and she went straight to the yellow one, straight to it. And she said, I'm buying this one because of my mother.
Because of sunflowers, and her mom liked sunflowers or something, right?
Right, she just went straight to it. So it depends,
You're drawn to something you make.
People go straight to, and I always
like.
do it, right. I know that for somebody, she had asked me for 10, and I made 20. And so I just laid them out on the table, and I said, pick the ones that call your name.
I'm going to ask you to talk a little bit more about this one, because actually you have almost a personal attachment because you are in remission.
I'm a survivor, right. I started making these because I myself am a 2-time survivor. And so I'm in remission now. And so I just started making them because I felt like it was important, for Breast Cancer Awareness Month. And so I found this paper, and I was like, oh, this is perfect. I bought all the pink material from Joanne Fabrics when it was around.
Yeah.
And so I started making these. And actually, when I had my last round of radiation, I made a bunch for the people who gave me the radiation, so.
That's so beautiful. It's personal.
It's very personal.
Not only for you making it, but also the purpose in which it's given.
Right.
And with the gratitude that it's given.
Right, and a lot of times when I make the angels, I don't necessarily, I make them for people who have had a loss, so if there's somebody that I know that has lost a family member, I just make them an angel and give it to them. If I know somebody that's had a trauma, like I said, I work with a lot of, in this last 42 years, I can't tell you how many domestic violence and sexual assault survivors I've worked with. And sometimes, if they're going through a really, really hard time, I will make them an angel and give it to them to help them, because it's angels of comfort, to help them get through as they're processing this kind of stuff, because I want people to really kind of get to that place where they can get a sense of renewal, to get that sense of peace, I always say, it's a way of remembering that he or she or your higher power, or I'm Catholic, that's why I say he, but whoever it is that you believe guides you, sends you angels to help you get a sense of renewal, to help you meet those challenges, to help you find those inner strengths that you have. As a psychologist, I've always, when I worked with people, I always told people from the very beginning, first session, I'm here to help you figure out what your challenges are, what solutions might be out there, what supports are out there, and what inner strengths do you have inside of you that you forgot. And so I'm hoping that the angels help you find all of those things and bring it out of you to then help guide you to that sense of serenity and peace. So that's my goal.
So you've had a long history of helping individuals overcome whatever the varying challenges are in their life. So I'm going to ask you one question really quick, and then I want you to give us some advice. So if it's not angels, what are some ways that people can process their grief and loss and do something to turn it back? Tell me why only women? Why are your angels only women?
You know what? I'm not exactly sure. That's how I started. I did try to do some men. They just didn't quite come out. I think because a lot of my career has been helping women. You know, a lot of my career has been helping victims of domestic violence, victims of sexual assault. Well, I know that men are also victims of domestic violence. Men are also victims of sexual assault. But the ones that have come to me have been primarily women. And so I think,
I thought
in my mind,
like making dresses. I didn't know.
well, that too. Well, it's also easier to. I mean, you know, I tried doing it. It just didn't come out right. And so I focused on doing these because these are the ones that
beautiful.
I know. These are the ones that come out the best for me.
And thank you for all you do in helping individuals to kind of heal and just process and have something tangible to hang on to. That's kind of what our benches and our products are about having something tangible. Believe it or not, we're almost out of time. So I want to see your top 3 things that you recommend people do when they feel like they're grieving, they're lost, and want to talk to somebody. What are your top 3?
Well, one thing I always tell people is, first of all, like I said, we all have internal strengths that we forget we have. So really try to find a time to kind of take some time out and really look into yourself and try to remember, you know, think about a time when was I strong? When was I the strongest? And what were those times? And what was there to help me be strong? You know, and kind of pull that out of yourself. So that's part of it, you know. Who are the people around me? And who are the people that are supportive? And who are the people that are not so supportive? You know,
kind of gravitate.
Gravitate towards those people. And then, you know, like my angels, find something, some activity to participate in. Do something besides sitting in your sorrow.
Yeah.
You know, find something. Go out, do something. You know, dance, exercise, do something. You know, to help take you out. You know, so you can start to feel productive. So if you start to feel productive, that will help take you out of your pain. So those are the kinds of things.
You know, Elba, I'm so glad that we had you here. So tell me what's next. Really quickly, what's next for Elba's Angels of Comfort?
Well, like I said, I keep doing these, you know, partly because it's also very healing for me. You know, as I'm making them, it's very healing for me because it distracts me from the stuff that I'm thinking about. You know, I just want to put it out there and, you know, if people call me and they want them, to just get them out there to people. So that's what's next for me, is to kind of just put it out there and see how it goes.
Any message you want to give to your family, your friends?
The message that I want to give everybody in terms of my angels, when I did my write-up, the last sentence was, sometimes their angel is that friend sitting next to you. So that's what I want people to remember. I want people, when they take these angels, to feel that sense of renewal and to know that that guidance that you have out there is sending you these angels to remind you, but they also want them to remind you that sometimes that angel is that friend that's sitting right next to you. So use that friend that's sitting right next to you to help guide you to that sense of peace.
Elba, tell us one more time how they reach you.
Just call that phone number that's there, the 203-685-6486. Call me there, let me know what color, how many, what style you like. I will make them for you, and then I will get them either to you some way, and or you can pick them up from Vimaro.
Well, thank you. So listen, we're concluding another episode of Connecticut at Your Service, and it feels very fitting that you're with us today, Elba. So the show Connecticut at Your Service, we've decided that we're going to take a little bit of a hiatus.
Okay.
So we'll be back taping again in November. So we're taking some time off. But individuals like you have made this show such a difference, because all our guests in our almost 200 episodes that we've had over the last 3 years have made such a difference in the way that they're educating our community, how they're sticking up and stepping up for our community, and how we're showing people that you can have a job and everything else and still be presente to help other people. So I thank you and so many of our other guests that have been here. So we're not gone, we're not going away, we're just taking a little bit of a break and we'll be back in November. So I want to thank you and your angels, and I want to thank the Connecticut at Your Service angels who have supported, who have been a guest, and who have shared their love and what they do for our community. We'll see you then. We'll see you in November.